And good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Sports Rapp. This is the debut of our show. I'm your host, Mark Johnson, and to my right tonight we have, to my far right, Brian Bigham of the Saint Helens Lions football team, and to my near right we have Dean Timmons, quarterback, and switching over to my left, on my far left we have Aaron Hudson from the Lions. He is offensive lineman and defensive lineman. And to my immediate left, we have head coach Wes Bigham. We're going to be talking a little bit about the championship season, the season that was for the Lions, the first championship for the Lions football team, and deservedly so. This was a very hard-working team this year. And we're going to talk a little bit to the coach and few players we've got here, and show some clips towards the end of the show. We'd like to invite anybody out there who would like to call in with a question or a comment for any of the players or the coach to call in at 397-5886, and someone will take your call, and we'll get your question relayed to us, and we'll ask that question or pass on that comment. First of all, Coach, what were, besides winning a championship, obviously that's your number one hope and your expectation for the season, but what were some of your other hopes and expectations for the Lions coming into the season?
Well, individually, we as coaches, we always want the kids, or hope that the kids will show improvement over the course of the season and get better and have an enjoyable time in the program. That's one of our goals. We think the program should be fun for the kids. It's a lot of hard work, but we think they should still have fun. As far as goals and that type of thing, one thing we do in our program every year prior to the start of the season, we have the seniors come to my house for a barbecue with all the coaches, and we have some fun there and tee around and eat a lot of food, and never as much as they say they are. But then we sit down after the meal and talk about what our goals for the season are and expectations. And coaching staff, we relay to them what we expect out of them as seniors, what their responsibility in the season is. Being the seniors are the ones that basically are in charge. It is their team, and they need to know those things. And then we sit down and try and come up with what they want out of the season, goals. And this group of kids, they didn't have, a lot of times you have a lot of goals. They want to score so many points and gain so many yards and do this, do that. Well, this group of kids basically was only concerned with one thing, that was to win. Everything else really didn't matter to them. And their goals were, one goal was very important to them, was to win the fourth straight undisputed league championship in the Quapaw League. No other team has ever won 4 in a row undisputed. Rainier, back in the early 80s, won 4 in a row, but they shared 2 of those titles. And so this was kind of a milestone in the league, and that was real important for the kids. Also, along with that, was to get to state playoffs. And then the other goal, which is really the only real important one, was to be state champions. They've been around, and since their high school career, the 3 years that they'd been in the high school, the school had finished second, came within 11 seconds of winning one, and they played on 2 real powerful teams with a lot of really good athletes that conceivably had the talent to win the state championship, but we fell short. And they had that experience, that taste of being close, and the taste of what could have been but never was, and that was real important to them. They wanted to be state champions, and so that's what we went into the season looking at, was to be state champions. To win our 4th straight league championship, undisputed, and to be state champions. And that was basically what we looked for going into the season.
Okay, well, let's talk to the players a little bit. Guys, what were some of your individual goals that you wanted to achieve? Start with Dean. As quarterback, what did you want to accomplish?
Well, basically, it's just to lead my team to the championship game, and along the way, we lost a couple of games, and that helped us out, and it just really was the building point towards my goal, was to get to the state championship and win it, and that really helped out, I thought, with those losses.
Okay.
My goal was just, I wanted to get to that championship game real bad. In my freshman year, I remember sitting in the stands watching that team that played Hood River. And they lost, and I was, sitting there, I was going, God, hope maybe someday we could get there. And I've just always dreamed of getting to that game and being able to play in it. And getting there is just fun, but winning it's even more fun, and that's just like one of the goals I had in my career this year.
I think everybody sets personal goals for themselves, but you forget your personal goals and you go after what the team wants to get. And being part of that senior group, we all felt that we could win a state championship, and that's what we wanted to go out and do.
Okay. What changes were made by the coaches after the Lions dropped their first 2 games of the season?
Well, none really. We run a real consistent program. We don't make changes just because something bad happens to us. We're real confident in what we're doing, and we're real confident in our program and the way we're going about things. We lost a couple real close games. We didn't play particularly well in certain phases of it. We just go over those mistakes and errors with the players and continue to work hard to try and improve those mistakes and get on with business at hand. And we don't, there wasn't anything special that we did that we changed. We didn't change anything. We were running the same stuff in the state championship game as we were running the first of the year against Cascade. And just we happened to do things a lot better. We got better as the season went on, physically and mentally. Our intelligence on the field, an awareness of what was going on, and our execution and physical improvement was tremendous. Probably the most improved group of kids I've been around. I can't remember when. Just tremendous amount of improvement, just not only physically but mentally, emotionally. It was interesting in the playoffs. They never got wrapped up in all the hoopla and all that stuff that goes on with it. We're very seasoned group of kids, very experienced, and it was just like the opponent didn't care who we played, didn't care where we played. There's no big gnashing of teeth or moaning and groaning because we had to go all the way to Baker to play. And when it was snowing the next morning, nobody cared about it. It's just it's snowing. In fact, our kids handled the snow mentally better than Baker kids did. And when we were going to play Silverton or Estacada in the semis, there had been talk about a possible doubleheader at Civic Stadium following an important state national playoff game involving Silverton and the Dalles, and get to play in the turf, and that's always the goal of high school kids, to get a chance to play in the turf. And that didn't materialize. And kids didn't care. It didn't bother them. Well, we got to play somebody someplace, and that was the only thing that mattered. And then after we got to the finals and Silverton was eliminated by the Dalles, we had a number of people make comments like, "Well, it's too bad you don't get to play Silverton, you get revenge." And the basic comment was, "Who cares? We're in the final game. We don't care who we're playing. We're going to win it, and we don't care." The opponent wasn't important. They're just somebody that was in our way of advancing to the next round or win the state championship. And so, I think just the fact that the key to us was not necessarily coaching, it was that the kids just improved a tremendous amount.
Deep down, did I know you say you didn't care who you played as long as you were there. Deep down, was there that sense that you wanted to get revenge on Silverton? Had you kind of hoped that Silverton would be there?
Oh, I guess way down you'd like to get a shot at it, but just the fact that we were there and they weren't was satisfaction enough. It was like 4 years ago when we played Hood River in the finals. There's a lot of talks about playing Tillamook again because Tillamook reached the semifinals, and then they got knocked out by Hood River, and there was some talk about, well, that's too bad. You'd like to take on Tillamook and beat them again. Heck, I was happy that I didn't want them guys. I didn't want them to have a chance to be in the final game. That was a lot of satisfaction there. The fact that they didn't have the opportunity to get there this time, and we were there, and so I don't think that was really much of a factor.
Okay, we've got a couple of phone calls have come in already, and we'll direct these to who they need to go to. The first one is from the assistant basketball coach, and this one's to Brian Bigham. First, it says, ask Brian where he learned to shoot free throws.
Well,
This is from your assistant basketball coach.
I think that's a response to a couple free throws at the end of the Sherwood game.
Uh-oh.
yeah, well, I went to the line and I missed a couple free throws, and they were pretty ugly shots, and it's out of that was our 9th game, And that's the third time I've been to the line this year in a game situation. In practice, I shoot him pretty good, and then I got in the game and I didn't shoot him very well. And I guess can't really tell you where I learned how to shoot him. I just shoot him in practice, so I just went to the game and thought I could make him. So
we could probably quote Bill Shanley and say you've got to make your free throws.
Yeah, you gotta make them.
Also, the assistant basketball coach would like to congratulate the coaching staff and the players for a job well done this year. The manager of the football team, I believe that was Billy Wallace.
Billy Wallace,
Billy
yeah.
Wallace. Wants to say thanks to the coach and the players. They treated me great, like a team player, and it was a great experience to end my senior year.
I'd like to make a comment about Billy. We were really struggling, and we were 0-2, and then Billy came up to me in the hall the next day, on Monday at school, and wanted to know if he could be a manager on the team, and we didn't have one. There was a time, years past, when you always had a lot of kids want to be managers, but now it's just, it's not something that you're either play or you're not involved. And we really need a manager, and Billy came up, and he's a real gung-ho kid, and he loves sports, and I said, sure, we'd love to have you, Billy. And I'll tell you what, he made a real difference for us, too. Now, I talk about kids improve, but his enthusiasm on the field and encouragement, and, I don't know how anybody can ever make condition in the practice fun, but Billy kind of made it fun for everybody. He was hooping and hollering and high-fiving people and patting them on the butts and getting kids all excited when we're doing our sprints, and he was really important for us. And, so he just did a great job.
It's great to see that. In the playoffs, the Lions outscored their four opponents by a total of 149-29. What set this team apart from these opponents? I mean, obviously the opponents that you went up against were not slouches because they were either the number 1 or the number 2 team from their district coming into the playoffs. They're not slouches. What set this team apart from their opponents?
Well, I think there's a number of things. One, I think we're obviously had a lot of talent. We're a real talented group of kids. We didn't have the real superstar talent like we've had the past couple of years. But what we had was a bunch of really talented high school football players. Now, there's not a lot of demand in college for 185-pound tackles or 180-pound linebackers or that type of thing, or 5-foot 6-inch wide receivers, which we had a couple of. But we had a lot of kids that were really good high school football players. Okay, so we had a lot of depth. A lot of kids could play, a lot of depth. We played a lot of people. So we didn't get tired during the course of the season. We weren't beat up when the season ended like some teams are. And we certainly didn't get tired during the playoffs because we were able to play a lot of people during the game. We're also extremely experienced in the playoffs. This is the only thing these kids ever known is being in playoffs when the season's over. So this is their third year being in the playoffs as players, their fourth year being in the playoffs, seeing the football program in the playoffs because we were there their freshman year. So they're very experienced in that. And that goes a long ways in the playoffs, is knowing how to handle that situation because it's a different atmosphere when you get to the playoffs. Everything kind of changes. It's not like your usual Friday night game against whoever you're playing, league opponent. It's a different atmosphere out there. And the other thing I think that we kind of discounted early in the year. Early in the year, we thought our league was not going to be a very strong league from top to bottom. But after we got in the playoffs, and in fact, through the playoffs, looking back, I think our league was really tough. Rainier played Silverton right to the wire, lost right in the end. Scappoose, Seaside, those three teams could have done well in the playoffs. And Tillamook probably at the end of the year, they were a real good football team at the end of the year. And so we lost to Seaside and barely got by Scappoose and had a tough game with Rainier. And so I think our league competition, the toughness of it really helped prepare us for the playoffs too. And so I think that's probably one reason. And I get, not that I give credit to our players, they just played great during the playoffs. We run an option offense, and we have to make all kinds of decisions before the ball snapped. We have to make decisions after the ball snapped, and Dean did a tremendous job being the field general out there, making those audible calls and changing plays and then functioning the offense. And, a lineman like Aaron Hudson here made all kinds of blocking adjustments up and down the line of scrimmage. And, our receivers have to make reads on pass routes. When we have a pass route call, we just don't go down 5 steps, turn around, that's it. Well, we may go down 5 steps, turn around, but we may also go down 5 steps and break deep in the middle or break outside, depending on what the pass coverage does. And those receivers have to make those reads once the ball gets going. So, I think our experience really told in that fact that the kids were able to execute our offensive and defensive game plans, to perfection was the reason that we were able to dominate people. We did not make mistakes in the playoffs. We played error-free.
That's great. Now, I noticed like in the regular season there was one special play that I later found out is not a coach's drawn play, but is actually called as an option by the quarterback, and that's the number 99 play. That's it'd be like on the 4th down.
Or a fake punt.
Or a fake punt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's well. Dean can explain it. He's the one that makes the decision on that.
Okay.
Basically, you just walk up line of scrimmage, and you check across, and if they're not covering one of the slot backs or the wide receiver, then you call black 888. That's our signal for that. And as soon as the ball snaps, you just dump it to them, and away they go.
Okay. Proved to be very effective this year when you used it. Did the team use any other special plays that proved to be pretty effective at a crucial time in the game?
Well, a lot of people talk about game plans and all that. Our offense is our game plan. It's an option offense, and a lot of times we don't know what we're going to emphasize during the course of the game until the game gets going. We very seldom see defensively what we practice against. I know Aaron, being a lineman, can attest to that. And Dean, being a quarterback who's got to make all those audibles and all those calls line of scrimmage, can attest to that too. Teams generally do not play us the way they play other people. So we practice, we don't have a lot of plays. We practice those plays against all kinds of situations, about anything we could conceivably come up against. And then it's just a matter of reacting. And a lot of the times when we break big plays, it's not because we were, it's not because the coach was smart enough to make the right call, or we tricked somebody. It's because Dean came with the line of scrimmage, and when he's looking over the defense, he sees they haven't covered something. They've given us something, and so then he audibles, and then it's just a piece of cake for the line to make the block. We get a block and receiver in the backs. There's no way to, it's just a piece of cake, and that's basically the way our offense operates.
Okay. Even though the offense is really the main part of your game, it seems to me that your defense is what really took care of your opponents in the playoffs. Your pass defense was just incredible in the playoffs, in the 4 playoff games.
Yeah, we our pass defense wasn't real good early in the year. We gave up a lot of yards passing, particularly the first 2 ball games. And and we were inexperienced in the secondary as far as varsity game experience. Brian was the only returning starter in the secondary from a real veteran crew the year before, and so we had a lot of new people in there. And secondary-wise, secondary play is a kind of like a basketball team. They've got to function together as a unit. A lot of times in line play, there's a lot of times an individual type situation. Linebacker too is individual situation sometimes. But secondary, you got to work as a team out there, and we had a hard time coordinating things. But as the season went on, we got better and better there. And in the playoffs, one thing that really helped us in the playoffs, 3 of the 4 teams we played were single back teams. They only played with 1 guy in the backfield, and they were primarily a passing team. And Baker was the only one that wasn't, but we got such a big lead on them so early in the game that they abandoned their normal type of attack and went to a single back attack and threw the ball. So basically what we did in the playoffs, we practiced for one team the whole playoffs because everybody played the same way. And we played what we call our nickel package, which refers to 5 defensive backs instead of 4. We took a defensive lineman out and only played with 4 people up front and 2 linebackers. And one of the keys to that, us able to do that, is our linemen, like Aaron and Dan Walters and Andy Nolette and Bubba Hubbs, and kids like that, and our defensive ends, Jeff Overmeyer and Gary Young and Anthony Villappiani. Those kids, and our linebackers, Mike Larson, Jason Gardner, and Jason McCoy, those 6 kids were able to take care of the run and not let teams run the ball, so we were able to play 5 defensive backs almost all the time in the playoffs instead of playing with 4. And that's that was, and then of course the kids in the secondary did play great back there too. We just shut off some first team All-State quarterback. I don't know, we sacked him about 6 times and intercepted a couple balls and 2 or 3 passes, and he barely got 100 yards passing. And Haslett, kid who threw for about 1,600 yards, he barely got 100 yards passing, and we picked about 3 or so off of him. harassed him all over the ballpark. So, it's a team game. Our line's got to do the job, eliminate the run and pressure, and then our secondary's got to cover. And so, but the one key there was we were able to practice for basically the same type of tackle whole playoff.
That's great. Pass on a few more notes. We're getting a lot of response here tonight from the Stat Girls. Excellent job and good luck next year.
Yeah, Stat Girls are great. It's a funny deal here. We've had a veteran crew of Stat Girls for a long time. We've always had about 2-3 seniors and a couple juniors and a couple sophomores, so we always had veteran girls. Well, we lost all our Stat Girls last year. They all graduated. And so we didn't have any Stat Girls during the season, so I wanted to recruit some sophomore girls so we would have them for 3 years. I didn't want to get seniors and have to retrain another group. And so we got the girls lined up. It helped to have some of their boyfriends on the football team. That was an attraction, but that's okay. Whatever the motives are, that's all right. But so we played Cascade in the first game, and they did the stats. They had a lot of questions, and they were flustered and didn't know if they did a good job. And so I didn't really know how good a job they did. So rather than trust their stats, I took the game film home and redid all the stats off the game film to see how close they were. Well, they were about 4 yards off. So, they did a great job first time out. They just really did a great job. We're real excited about having them back next year. I don't know, they're losing a couple of boyfriends are leaving, so I don't know if they'll be there or not. They either had to get a couple more boyfriends or keep them in the program. They really did a great job for us.
All right, great. Let me see here. This is for all three players. Where are you going to college, and do you plan to keep playing football? Who wants to start? We'll start with Aaron this time.
Well, I'm planning on going to Chemeketa Community College right now, and I'm probably not going to continue my football career. Instead, just focus on what I'm going to do later on in life.
Okay. So you're just gonna you got the championship from high school, and you're gonna end it on a high note.
Yeah, it's basically I just want to go to school and learn the trade that I'm going to be in and do that.
What do you plan on studying?
Fire science. Be a firefighter.
All right, great. Dean.
I really haven't decided yet if I'm going to play football or not. I've looked into Western Oregon and Lewis and Clark, but I think I might just go to school to study, maybe go to a community college for 2 years and take up counseling for younger kids and stuff like that.
All right, that's great. Brian?
I'm planning on keeping my football career going. I've looked into Lewis and Clark, Linfield, and Western. I've talked to all three coaches, and hopefully I'll be able to play at one of those three schools. So I'm planning on to continue my football career, and so hopefully I'll be able to do that.
Okay. What do you plan on studying?
Right now I'm planning on studying physical education and health, but I might have to change if I want to play football at one of these three colleges, because I'm not sure if they have that education that I want, and so if I play at one of those colleges, I'll just have to change it, and which will be fine with me, because it might be fun to study something else.
Okay, great. Another question. This one's for Coach Bigham. What are you going to do for a quarterback after Dean leaves?
Well, we have our two junior varsity quarterbacks, Gordy Jarman and Ronnie Cordell. Both had really good seasons for the JV. They basically split time during the course of the year. First of the year, Ronnie had been seriously ill, and he missed the first part of the season a little bit, so Gordy Jarman quarterbacked the majority of the time for the first half of the season. But after that, they basically split time, and both of them played very well throughout the JV season. So I would anticipate that our starting quarterback will be one of those two young men. So that's the way we'll have to go.
Okay.
We can't. One thing about coaching, you can't worry about who's leaving, because they're gone, and you got to get on with business. And so we'll get on with business next year.
How's the team going to be shaping up for next year?
Well, we'll have a veteran team come back. We have about 25 juniors returning next year, which will be seniors, which is really good. The interesting thing about these kids, when they came in, when they're in junior high, I don't think they won a game. And a lot of people have told us that, well, there goes the end of your reign when these guys get up there, because they're not very good and they're not going to win. But we've still got 25 of them left out of about 30 when they start out. So one thing is they love to play football. They like the game. Number two, they got put with a bunch of kids that were winning all the time, and they've learned what it takes to win. And number three, they have improved themselves physically a whole bunch, and they're they went through an undefeated JV season last year. We haven't lost a JV game in the league for about 6-7 years now, but they were undefeated in JV season last year, and we started 3 juniors in the state championship game, and we had a couple more come in and play during the course of the game, play very well. And so we really think that we've got some good kids coming back, and some really talented athletes in that sophomore class will be juniors next year that we're looking forward to. We will fully expect to win the league championship next year. We expect to.
Okay. Got one more question. This one is directed towards me. When will we be able to see playoff and championship tapes, and will they be available to purchase? Now, as far as purchase, I don't know if we'll be able to sell those because they are state-sanctioned games. The state championship game will be seen probably this Wednesday night at 8 o'clock, and probably again Friday at 8. We signed the contract with OSAA. We had to, I don't think a lot of the people around here, around the community, know what we have to do to get these games put on. Essentially what we have to do is we have to pay OSAA $300 per game, per playoff game, and sign a contract for each game in order to have the rights to put these games on the air. And with the small budget that we have, we were able to get $300 raised to put the championship game on, which I feel is deserving, seeing as how this is the first football championship for the Saint Helens Lions, and I felt that this team deserved to be recognized by putting that game on TV. And I want to thank the businesses that contributed, and also to the sports boosters for putting us over the top and helping us get the money to put this on TV. And it's going to be a real a tribute to this team in what they accomplished this year. They ended up being 9-3 overall, including playoffs. They did an incredible job this season, and we want to congratulate them. I want to thank everybody that called in. I know we've just got a couple more minutes before we roll the highlights of the 4 playoff games. That was part of the question. They want to know when they can see some of the playoff stuff. Well, within the next couple of minutes, we're going to be rolling a highlight tape, so get your VCRs set up for that. You might want to tape these. We'll have highlights from the Newport, Baker, Estacada, and the championship game coming up here in just a few minutes. I notice we do have one other note here passed along here. This one's for Coach Bigham. It says here, how did you pick up the team, I guess, emotionally after a loss and get them up for another game? It didn't happen too often this year. There's only 3 losses in the whole year.
But that was a few more than we've been used to in the past few years.
This is true.
A lot of it depends on the nature of the loss and how the kids play. You know, if you play your hearts out and you lose right in the end, like our Hood River game, for instance, 4 years ago. Of course, we didn't have another game after that. But you'd treat the situation differently than we did, say, after we lost to Seaside. We lost to Seaside. We did not have a very good effort out of our players. And the other thing is how the players responding. We walk in the locker room. I knew that the players knew that they played terrible, that they did not give the effort that we had to have to win, and they did not perform well. So, but if they had come in the locker room keying around like that, I would have handled that a lot differently. Okay, they knew that they didn't play well. We knew they didn't play well. We knew that they knew. So a lot of it just depends on the situation. Seaside game, that was the put up or shut up point. You know, like you say, fish or cut bait, put up or shut up. Walk it like you talk it. I mean, we're at the end of the rope right there. We were going to do it or we're going home. That was the bottom line, and the players knew their backs were to the wall, and we could not lose another ball game if they were going to be state champions, which we've done a lot of talking about being. And So that case there was more of just reminding them of what their situation was. And then they took it from there. If those goals are truly important to them, then they would get going and put that aside and take care of business at hand. We still were in control of ourselves. And that's what they did. Now, early in the season, we lose our first 2 games. They were really, other than the fact we're playing for pride and winning's nice, they were really unimportant to us. They didn't have anything to do with how the season was going to go. They were non-league games. And we played hard in those games. We just didn't win. But we made a lot of physical errors and mental errors. So we talked a lot about, hey, we're making all these errors and we're this close. What's going to happen if we get rid of those errors? Okay, there's a motivation factor right there. We got to improve. We got to get smarter in the field. We got to get better physically, and then we're going to start getting those wins. Okay, so when you lose, a lot of how you handle it depends on what the situation is, and But I think those old days of Newt Rockney or Vince Lombardi screaming, yelling, kicking chairs all over the place. And, I think that's pretty much gone unless you happen to have a group of kids that just absolutely flat refuse to play right and do things right, and then maybe you got to scream and yell and go nuts over something like that. I don't get upset too often, except over maybe a couple things. One's lack of effort. I really get upset over lack of effort. And I get really upset over not paying attention to what we're doing. And those, the kids will attest to that. I really get upset with those 2 things. But other than that, I usually, pretty nice guy out there. But I really do get upset about those two things. Because number one, I think that, those 2 things don't take any type of physical talent to do. Okay? You don't have to be a great athlete to play hard. You don't have to be smart to pay attention. And those are 2 real key points in winning. Is you play hard and you know what the heck you're doing. If you do those, you're going to win a lot of games. And so I really get upset about those 2 things.
All right. Any last comments?
I got a question for kids.
Oh, okay.
I never asked. I haven't. We played 4 games. We went from one end of the state to the other. We played in a snowstorm. We played in mud up to the ankles. We played in the artificial turf. We played in a lot of different places. We played a lot of different people. And I'd like to ask the players what their most memorable experience in the playoffs was, because there was obviously a lot of them. But I'd like to know what their most memorable experience was. All right, Bill? Looks like you got an answer.
Probably playing in the snow at Baker. That was something new and something different that nobody had ever done before. Along with that, though, was also playing on the turf. That was a lot of fun too. It was just something different that, once again, nobody's ever done before. So those are probably my 2 most memorable things.
Was it harder playing on the artificial turf?
No, it was easier.
Was it?
It seemed like you could do things better. You kept your footing better, a whole lot better than playing in the snow or at some muddy field somewhere.
So there was no real big adjustments to having to play on artificial turf?
No, not really.
I think playing in the state championship game and winning it was my most memorable thing. But there's something that sticks out even more was the interception in Newport game for a touchdown when I threw that. That's what I remember most of the playoffs.
Not so much one of your better highlights,
No.
but on a positive note, that was the only touchdown you gave up in that game. So, if you're gonna, how about you?
I might say the most memorable would probably be, the state championship game too, but the snow was really memorable too. And actually the whole playoff thing is a real memory that'll be with me the whole year, because we came in and all the, a lot of the playoff coaches, especially Estacada, they say we have no pass defense, and we came in there muddy, it was all mud and everything, and, I thought we played a heck of a ball game, and I just think really the whole playoffs would be a real memory to me, and that's really a memory to me.
Okay, great.
I kind of got an experience.
Okay.
Since I asked the question.
Okay.
You're
the coach, so.
Well,
Well,
when I played ball, I was dreaming of being a state champion and winning one. We never did. And, when I started coaching, that was always a goal of mine, is to be a state champion, coach a state championship team. And that was always a goal of mine. I coached a lot of years and was close a number of times. Got in the finals twice in football, once in baseball. We didn't get it. The thrill of winning it was was an experience, the entire thing. But 2 things really stick out in my mind. One was right after Clark Rawls intercepted that pass at halftime, right at the end of the half and ran that back for 6, excuse me, I knew we had it won. I knew they could not beat us. And so, of course, I didn't tell the players that, but I knew we had it. They were not going to get us. And so the whole second half, I was able to just kind of sit back and enjoy the moment. You know, I remember very little about the Hood River game. And I remember very little about the Rainier Central State Championship when I was at Rainier in '83, because both those were just nail biters, just tooth and nail right to the very end of the game. We're fighting in there with a chance to win it. And so consequently, I remember very little about them. But I remember the whole second half. I can almost recite play for play what happened. I was able to turn around, watch the crowd, listen to the band, joke with the players and the coaches on the sidelines, just enjoy the moment. And so that was really nice. But the other thing that really sticks out in my mind is coming back from the state championship game and hitting that way station outside of Scappoose and seeing all those people waiting for us. And that was really exciting. You know, the kids went nuts in the bus, and it was just great.
It was a great tribute to him. We must have had when we started out, we must have had about 40 cars sitting at the way station, and by the time we pulled into St. Helens, I think the line of cars must have stretched from St. Helens all the way into Scappoose, from what I was told.
Yeah, it was a great experience to see that kind of community support, you know, for the kids and the team. That was.
Did you expect the turnout to be that great?
No.
Of the team?
No, I didn't. You know, it was interesting. You know, during the season, after our first 2 games, our attendance at the games dropped off. We've got a core of people who are just die-hard fans. They go with us any place. I don't care where we play, but they're always there, screaming, yelling, making noise for the team. But we lost a lot of other people, you know, and I think that's typical of any team. You know, even in the pros, any place. Heck, if the Blazers start losing, they're not gonna fill the Coliseum up. You know, people want to watch people are winning, and you know, and when we started winning again, the other fans started coming back. But you know, we've got a real core of loyal fans that are with us no matter what, and they're over there in Baker. Not all of them are parents. We got a lot of fans that have no connection with the team other than they want to watch the Lions play football. When, you know, a guy like Ken Thomas rents us a big propane heater for our sideline. I mean, he has no kids that play in the program, but he goes all the way to Baker, risks life and limb, driving that horrendous weather, and then rents us a portable heater to keep us warm on the sidelines. I mean, that's the type of people we have that follow the team, and that is really, really neat. And you know, like our mothers group, you know, the mysterious mothers group we have, that decorate our locker rooms, provide snacks for the kids. And all 3 of these players' mothers are part of it, but they never claim to be. But they leave at strange hours in the morning and at night, and return at strange hours, and the locker room's always done up. And they just did a lot of great things for the kids, and the kids really appreciate that too. And decorating the school, and you know, our cheerleaders did a great job for us. They did a great job supporting the team. And, you know, once it was all over, Julie Johnson and cheerleaders went around, got all kinds of, Mrs. Johnson got all kinds of businesses that donate pizza, and coupons for things at Burgerville, and all kinds of stuff for the kids, and that was really a neat deal too. You know, it's just you know, part of the benefits.
Yeah. The businesses were very supportive this year of the team. A lot of them putting signs in their windows and just doing everything they could to support this team, and rightly so. It was good. We have an update on the Blazers score. Blazers 61, Seattle 51. Go Blazers! The team. We're gonna wind it up here real quick. I actually went a little bit past what I wanted to before going to the clips, but I'm getting some strange signals from my floor director here. I have no idea what it means, but that's okay because yeah, okay. I understand that one. Thanks. Yeah, we're going to wind it up. We're going to go to the clips. I want to thank Brian Bigham, Dean Timmons, Aaron Hudson, and head coach Wes Bigham for being my guests on this debut of Sports Rapp. Very cooperative and fun to have on here, and it was fun talking football with the 4 of you. And best of luck to the 3 players that joined us here, and in whatever they do after high school, and essentially, well, whatever they're going to do with the rest of this year. I know Brian and Dean, I think you guys will probably end up playing baseball too, won't you?
Yep.
Aaron, do you have any plans to play any more sports this year?
I'm on the golf team.
Golf team, good deal. I like golf. Golf's a good
Notice
sport.
he said golf, not hack.
Yeah.
He's a golfer. I'm a
Golf?
hacker.
Yeah, I think I fall under hacker myself. I like the sport of golf, but I'm not very good at it. So, anyway, we're going to wrap it up. We're going to go to the clips of the playoff games. So set your VCRs and tape these. These are part of history for St. Helens. So we're going to roll those. Thanks a lot, everybody, for watching and for all of you that called in. I'm Mark Johnson. Good night, everybody.
with the reception for the touchdown. Bigham in to attempt the extra point for St. Helens.
Come on, Dean. Quick snap.
Pass complete. They have the extra point.
Come on. Here's the score, boys and girls. Lions 14. Indians. I got some good shots down there, dude. Football.
Now today's topic, how to hide dope in football. Jesus. Stuff them, Mark. They already have. It's over.
We'll keep stuffing them.
It's all soda.
Tell you what. If you'll
Jesus.
One for the long one. Foul Dougie Stewart. Drinking man Stewart. Uh-oh. Oh! Drafted right out of high school.
No.
Oh, no.
Pitch back, there it is.
Touchdown, Saint Helens.
Hey everybody, let's say hi.
Get him on tape.